Welcome back to Foot in Mouth. No Premier League football to speak about today because it's the return of the Champions League, and that is the flavor of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Champions League games. That's what we're speaking about today. This episode's coming out way later than I planned, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. We're looking at the English clubs that are involved in Champions League this season. There are 6 English clubs in the competition this time around, which is crazy. They've each been handed their 8 fixtures for the league phase, 4 home, 4 away. Going to do a very quick overview of those fixtures for these clubs. Who's got the easiest set of them? Who's got the toughest set of them? Not that there are any easy fixtures in the Champions League. But yeah, I've delayed enough. We're going to start things off with Arsenal. They are playing tonight against Atletico Club. I think it's a kind fixture. I think as far as Arsenal's Champions League campaign goes, we can very confidently predict a winning start. All due respect to Athletic. But yeah, I think on paper, Arsenal, the better team between the two. They played each other in the preseason, so neither side is unfamiliar with the other. But you look at Athletic, I think they're not having the best start to the La Liga season for them, and they are also missing some key players, namely Nico Williams. That's not to say Arsenal without their injuries. We've obviously got a whole lot of injuries of our own. Some rotation will be needed, but I think Nico Williams is going to be a much bigger miss for Athletic than any of our absentees, because what we saw against Nottingham Forest is that even with rotation, drop-off in quality is non-existent now at Arsenal, which is a crazy thing to say. But yeah, I think we're going to have to rotate tonight regardless of injuries, just because Arsenal have Manchester City this weekend in the Premier League. It's going to be an interesting fixture. I think however Arsenal line up, we should get the win here, because we're going up against a team that is the host, so they are going to want to play on the front foot, and that works in our favor. Arsenal love to play against a team that tries to play against them. So however Arteta decides to line up, I think we're going to get a win here. I'm predicting a big win for Arsenal. I'm going to say 3-0. Nico Williams not being involved for Athletic is a big plus for Arsenal. He can be trouble for any fullback in the world. So yeah, to not have him there, it's one less problem to think about. But the fullback situation is interesting for Arteta to look at tonight. Calafiori's been playing a lot of football, so I think it's a good time to give Miles Lewis-Kelly a start. And then you look on the other side, you got Yuri and Timber, who's also been run into the ground quite a bit lately. But with Ben White still a doubt, not much opportunity to throw someone else in his position, but someone like Mosquera could cover there as well. A lot of headaches for Arteta to deal with, and I'm expecting a winning start to our league campaign. We got some tough fixtures though in the running, namely that Bayern Munich fixture, who is our ultimate bogey club. But I think between now and that fixture, we just got to rack up as many wins as possible, and it seems very doable. We've also got Inter Milan in the league phase, who were the only team to beat us last season in the league phase, albeit by a penalty, so I think there's a little bit of revenge in order. But yeah, I think for the most part, Arsenal's league fixtures look pretty decent, and we look very much in line to come out of them fairly unscathed. I could honestly see Arsenal topping the league at the end of this phase with 8 wins from 8. Spurs are also playing tonight. They've probably got the nicest set of fixtures, and they're going to need it because it's uncharted territory for Thomas Frank and for a lot of the players in this new look Spurs side. But in general, it's exciting times at Spurs. You know, Daniel Levy has left the club now, so this is the start of a new era. A home game against Villareal is probably as kind as it could possibly get. I think that Spurs will be favorites for it. The fact that it's at Spurs home, the fact that the buzz is going to be insane because everyone's going to be excited about Champions League football returning to their stadium. They are going into this game as current Europa League champions, so they've got a little bit of chest about them. Thomas Frank's brand of football, I think, is just going to absolutely wreak havoc against Villareal. So I think this is going to be a decently comfortable win for Spurs. I think the English clubs in general are going to do well in this league phase. But yeah, Spurs, definitely the easiest go of things in my opinion. I'm expecting a 3-0 win for them probably tonight. 3-0, maybe even 4-0. But I'll keep it civil. I'll say 3-0 Spurs. Going forward, as long as they can make sure that they do the business in the games where they're expected to do the business, they should be fine. Because PSG is coming up at some point, and we saw what happened to them the last time they played each other. I don't think it's going to be nearly as close this time around, because it is going to be in PSG's home ground. With those ultras in the stands, bro, I could honestly see Spurs just completely being overwhelmed by the atmosphere. So between now and then, they just got to make sure they bag as many points as they can. And honestly, you look at the games that they've got coming up, how could they not, bro? They definitely had the luck of the draw here. Moving on to tomorrow night, Chelsea have the toughest fixture of the week. without a doubt, they are going all the way to Munich to take on Bayern. And I think that Chelsea are going to start things off with an L. The champions of the world, like they like to proclaim themselves to be. I don't think that they're going to have enough about them to beat Bayern Munich. Bayern have looked quite good so far this season. Chelsea have looked quite shaky, although they have been scoring lots of goals. But coming into this game off the back of a 2-2 draw with Brentford, not ideal. Bayern Munich score goals for fun, especially at home. So I think it's going to be an ugly welcome back to the Champions League for them. Much like Spurs taking their Europa League glory into this fixture, Chelsea are coming into the competition as Conference League champions, and Club World Cup champions. So they will have a little bit of chest about them themselves. I think Bayern Munich are going to make very light work of them. I can't lie. It would be very Chelsea for them to come out of this with a win, though, but I just don't see it happening. And I think you look at the rest of their fixtures, they've got a little bit of luck in some areas, but some bad luck as well, because Barcelona is going to be tough. Atlanta is going to be tough. And then, of course, they've got Napoli away to close things out for the league phase. So it's anybody's guess where Chelsea will be sitting in the league table come the end of this phase. But for now, I think they're starting things off with an L. I think as far as tough fixtures go, they've got a real Champions League draw of games, in my opinion. Benfica's there, Ajax is there. They've got some unknowns, but yeah, for the most part, the heavy hitters in there are heavy hitters. So they're going to need to keep their wits about them, and they're also going to need to do some rotation of their own, because this weekend they got Manchester United to play. But yeah, Bayern Munich, no matter how Chelsea line up, I can't look past Bayern for a win, and I think they'll win this one 3-1. Liverpool also in action tomorrow night. Big things expected of Liverpool, not only in the Premier League, but also in the Champions League. And they starting things off against Atletico Madrid. So not the easiest start for them. I think it's a good time to play against Atletico because they haven't exactly found their groove yet. Although the same could probably be said for Liverpool. Even though Liverpool have 4 wins from 4, they don't look all there. And that I think works in their favor, the fact that they can still get all these wins without looking 100% there. But yeah, I think this Atletico Madrid game, it's good luck for them that it's at Anfield. I think if it was at Atletico Stadium, it could have been a different story. But yeah, coming to Anfield, I don't think Atletico have enough about them. I think Liverpool are just so overpowered up top. And, all due respect, Atletico does have solid defense, is what they've always been praised for. So this game is going to be something of an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, and it should be a decent watch. But yeah, I think Liverpool probably have more than enough about them to come out on top with a big win here. But I'll say 2-0. We'll keep it civil just because Simeone and that Atletico defense can be quite firm on their day. And then elsewhere, Liverpool only really have Real Madrid to worry about when they come to Anfield. Aside from that, I think their run of fixtures is decent, especially when you are Liverpool. You pretty much guarantee yourself to be favorites with this run of fixtures. That Real Madrid game is the one tricky one. So I think that they've done quite well to get the fixtures that they got, and they should probably come out of this with at least 7 wins from 8. Manchester City have an interesting fixture to start things off for their Champions League campaign because Kevin De Bruyne is coming home. I don't think anybody thought that he'd make a return to the Etihad so soon after leaving, but he is coming back, and he's bringing with him Ballon d'Or McTominay, who obviously has the Manchester rivalry built in him after his time in Man United. So I think the Man City versus Napoli is going to be a fiery affair. It is at the Etihad, which I think really helps Man City because they also another club that don't look all there at the moment, but they're taking a massive Manchester derby win with them into this game. So confidence is going to be high. Erling Haaland, never mind how the rest of the team looks, Erling Haaland has found his form. That's pretty much all that matters. That can guarantee you 3 points most days. So yeah, I think Man City, they will be okay in this game. I think what hurts them is the fact that they've got Arsenal coming up on the weekend and they're playing on Thursday night. So they've got 2 fewer days than Arsenal to prepare for this. And I don't think they have the depth to rotate as much as they need to. So I already said early on in the week that I'm expecting Arsenal to win the game against Man City this weekend. But at the very least, I think they can take 3 points from this Napoli fixture. And then the rest of the fixtures they have in the league phase also, much like Liverpool, I think there's some tough ones there, but when you are Manchester City, you kind of have to put yourself as favorites, and they've also got a fixture with Real Madrid coming up. They're going to the Bernabeu for that one. They've got a little bit worse luck than Liverpool there, but then other than that, bro, you kind of have to see that, you kind of have to say that Man City will come out of this fine, and this is another team I think can quite easily get 7 wins from 8. Newcastle make their return to the Champions League, and it's tough, bro. Their first game is Barcelona. At least it's at home. We've seen them punish PSG at St. James Park before in the past. Maybe the same thing happens tonight. Maybe the same thing happens this time around, sorry. I don't see that happening because Barcelona are just so good. And Newcastle, Yeah, after the transfer window that they've had, they don't look bad. They absolutely don't look bad, but they don't look Barcelona level. If anything, I think Newcastle will pick up points in this league phase. I don't think it starts with this Barcelona game though. And to be honest, in the long run, I don't think that Newcastle will make it further than this league phase. I think that there's too many tough teams to get through, and having to balance that with Premier League football as well, where they're going to be needing to make a strong push there. I don't see them managing it. Barcelona at home, it's the worst fixture they could have started with. After this, they've at least got club. I've never even heard of this Union Saint Gilloise, however you say the name. There are some teams that Newcastle can definitely get wins over, but it's so start-stoppy for them with where they can win and where I don't think they will, because they've also got Marseille away, which I think can be tough. They've got Leverkusen away, which could be tough. And then they end things off with PSG away. So, yeah, it's not the nicest draw for Newcastle. And I do fear for them a little bit. And it all starts with a loss against Barcelona here. And that does it for the Premier League clubs in action. Let me know what you guys think of the games that are lined up for each of these teams. Who do you think has the easiest set of them? Who do you think has the toughest set of them? And who do you think is going to be leading the way points-wise? Like I said, I think so far I'm leaning towards Arsenal. I may be a bit biased, but I think it's a fair prediction to make that they can come out of all these games with wins. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you as always for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a like if you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content. I'll catch you in the next one.